I had probably 4 or 5 people over the last 2 weeks ask me to give them a little more detail or insight into some of the strategies that I was showing you a few weeks ago on LinkedIn prospecting, growing your email list or your connections through LinkedIn, getting them onto your email list, and then starting to, I guess, sort of nurture them, getting them into an email sequence that can lead towards a conversion. So I might even jump in and run you guys through just for 5 or 10 minutes that process, the way I do it, and the way you guys can do it as well. Obviously, my business is a little different to yours, but the fundamentals, the principles remain the same. So by all means, jump in, ask me some questions. It's actually on topic, because I also had a few people ask me during the week or last week whether we could have a bit of a dedicated session to the corporate market, and we could sort of share some strategies and some insights there as well. So I might even just flag that for next week. And so, you guys can have a bit of a think about problems or challenges that you're having, growing that one particular sales channel, and any sort of insights, any sort of strategies that are working for you that you think people would find valuable. How does that sound, everyone? Cool. All right. So what I might even do, first of all, is just quickly share screen and jump over here to my LinkedIn. So with your LinkedIn profile, it is a really good idea to put a little bit of work into it. So nothing really to talk in great detail about here, but with your profile, some of the key elements, and this is stuff I've only learned, probably in more recent times. One is to have a great profile picture that's up close, that's, looks engaging. You got a smile on your face. It's not grainier. You're not in the distance. But that's going to, it's proven to be more impactful and increase your likelihood of people connecting with you. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is to have like a nice background image there. And as you can see, I actually got mine done by one of my stable of designers that I've got via Upwork. Shavona, she's in India. I think runs at about $10 to $12 an hour. So a little project like that, it's probably $25. Okay. For her to do that. So I just kick over all of those little bits and pieces to her. So I don't have to worry about it. So that looks nice. It looks professional. It looks like I know what I'm talking about. And the next most important thing is to have this section here, which you call your headline. Okay. So a lot of people get it wrong. They talk about, the owner of company A or, other things. But what it really needs to be is the thing that you do that people will find valuable. So what do you do? What problems do you solve? Who do you help? That's what you really need to show here in that headline. So have a flick around at some other profiles, in your networks, and see what other people do. But ultimately, that's what people need to know, exactly who you are, what you're all about, and what you do. And that's the quickest, most effective, I guess, sort of real estate that you can have. And then, of course, we go a little deeper into the about section and things like that, having some great recommendations, which is also really valuable. Obviously, some great activity that you're posting, some really valuable content. So all of those things, and some really good features as well. So I've got some good feature posts here. My breakthrough sessions, I've got some really good valuable articles and things like that as well. So that's really all we need to talk about as far as the profile goes. Now, as far as the way for you to build your network of connections and then get them onto your email list. So I'll show you some strategies that work for me. You'll need to iterate these a little because, they're not going to be 100% relevant to you, but you'll understand the spirit of them and you'll be able to incorporate them into your strategy as well. So the first thing I would definitely do is, you guys may or may not have seen this, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So what I would say is don't worry about going with LinkedIn Premium. Okay. I would go with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And the way to do that, it's pretty simple. You just, you can just Google it, in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And the one you're looking for would be the, get down here. Where's the plans? Where is it? I'll move all this stuff out of my way. We request free demo. Anyway, look, don't worry, it's there somewhere. And the one you're looking for once you jump into Sales Navigator is the core, C-O-R-E, core package. I'm not quite sure why I can't see that there. Maybe I'm just rushing. But anyway, so I would go with core. And core is, I think it's about 119 bucks a month or something like that. And the beautiful thing about it, product, okay, compare plans. There we go. So it's this one here, core, all right? And I think it's around, what is it? Price-wise, yeah, I think it's around $119 a month or something along those lines. So anyway, I would definitely do that. And the major reason for that is the search features. Okay, it really gives you some much more powerful filters and search features. All right. So let's just run with a couple of examples. So let's say now what I'm looking, my audience is people like you, owners of tour or activity or experience businesses, possibly event companies, small event companies, possibly travel agents, because travel agents for me, they may already or may have a desire to start actually running their own outbound trips. So they're always potential leads. But let's say, for example, we want to start with, let's go with agents. Okay. So let's say you're a tour business owner and you are there's a couple in the community that want to go really big on the cruise market. So I was speaking to Nick Irving recently last week. He's based in the UK. The Port of Southampton is a big, big opportunity for him. He wants to do like Stonehenge tours and Bath tours. So let's say you wanted to grow your network of connections of tour or cruise operators. So the search filters are really powerful here. So let's say, well, the first thing you do is you wouldn't go first degree connections, you go second degree, you go group members, you go third degree connections. All right. Geography. Then you might want to just, let's say, for example, you wanted to include North America. Okay. So cruise travel planners in North America. Then industry, you're going to want to go travel arrangements, the travel arrangements industry. Okay. Years of experience, not really necessary. Groups, not really necessary. All that stuff's not really necessary. What else? So job title would be important. You might want to go owner. You might want to go founder. Whoops. Let that person in. You might want to go director. You're gonna play around with this. It goes without saying. So that could be a whole bunch of stuff to get started, and that's going to throw you up, 2,000 plus results. You could go larger here, of course. Why would you be limited to North America? You might want to go Canada. You might want to go Australia. Okay, you understand. So what you're then going to get is a whole bunch of prospects here. And you want to go spend a little bit of time, jump in, have a look around. So, and look at people's profile. At face value, it seems like a good opportunity. Would April be the kind of person who's got clients that are cruising in Europe, stopping in the UK for some time, in a breakout or embarking or disembarking in the UK? Would she have prospective clients? Probably yes. So then the process works like this, and this has all been tested as to the likelihood that people are going to accept your connection request. So what you would do is you would always use a message, and a message. I'm just trying to find one here for you. Could have prepared better for this, but hey, we'll get there. So something like that. I'm not actually going to send this message, but I would grab this, and I would just drop it into the connection request here, like that. Add April's name. You know what? I'll just do it anyway. Hey, April, who knows? Could be a rabbit out of the hat prospect for me. So I would send the invitation. All right. So what happens next is, on average, if you send out, so generally speaking, 30% of people will accept if they're the right fit for you. Okay. If you have got your profile optimized, great profile picture, it's clear what you do. And they know, let's say, for example, you're Nick Irving, who runs England private tours. Great. He's a ground operator. He runs private tours out of Port of Southampton to Stonehenge, Bath. Great. It would be really good having him in my network. and you obviously pick someone that will be relevant to you, there's a likelihood that that April is going to accept your connection request. So what happens then is that I'm going to probably do it this way. I'll come over because this all goes obviously, straight into, your regular LinkedIn. It's connected up to your regular LinkedIn account as well. So once you've got that happening, you are going to find the following. Okay. So if you click in here to Abby, who is now a connection of mine, you go into more, and they're forever playing around with where things go in here. But ultimately, you're going to get some contact info. 95% of people on LinkedIn have their email contacts in their connection info, in their contact info. Okay, so you're going to be able to pop it into, and then what I would do is leave it until the end of the week. So you're not just doing bits and pieces, but on average, let's say you're sending out 30 connection requests every day, 10 people are going to accept it. Over the course of a week, that's going to be 50 people that you are going to be able to add to your database. Okay. So how to do that? Well, it is a manual task, and that's where a virtual assistant comes in beautifully. This whole thing can be automated. So let's say you've got this spreadsheet here. At the end of the week, they all get dropped in here. The best way to do it is to have simply first name, last name, email address, and company name. Just set up a spreadsheet like that. Now, the next thing is, I'll show you what I do. There's a lot of other solutions that you can use. So MailChimp can do this, Mailshake, Create Send. There's a whole lot of tech solutions to be able, to be able to send out email. At the moment, I'm using and exploring these guys, Connect 365, for a bunch of reasons. Doesn't matter who you use, but what you would do is drop them into an automated campaign. So I've called this one the social media boomerang campaign. Okay, it's a strategy I learned from elsewhere, but it kind of looks like this. So they are tagged as LinkedIn connections. They are uploaded, and I'm not going to show you through that process because everyone can upload contacts in different ways. But here you would do it like this. You go to contacts, you would go to import contacts, blah, blah, blah. It's not, it's not rocket science to import. They would be tagged as new LinkedIn connections. Okay. Then you drop them into an email campaign. Here's an example of one of those. So the first email would be this one. Now, the beauty of, just hold on one sec. The beauty of this one is that Connect 365 are unique in the sense that their emails, they claim to have about a 40% or 50% open rate. They come to people seemingly as personal emails. So they've got a unique product, and there's a whole lot of back-end stuff. They use HubSpot, they use Infusionsoft, blah, 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 all this stuff that, but anyway, it works. So you might have an email sequence like this. Great to connect, first name. And it would just simply be nice to connect on LinkedIn recently. Look forward to keeping up with what's new at. And that's why you have the company name in your database, because you can drop that straight in. And it's just a personal email, just checking in, nice to connect, blah, blah, blah. So that's the first one. Then, now they've tested all this stuff, and they recommend that the best strategy is the timings that they've got set out in this particular campaign, which is 7 days. The next one would be just a little bit of value. Thought you might like this. Okay, little article I found. It could be something you wrote, could be something from a third-party source. Okay, so that comes 7 days later. Then the next one, I'm not going to show you through the features of Connect 365. That's not the intention of this little workshop, because as I say, you could do this with anyone. The next one would be a RE. So an RE to a previous one, the likelihood is that people will open that. That's when you start suggesting you line up a quick call. Okay. So, for a cruise agent, yes, fantastic. I'm going to show you a couple of other different types of ways you can use it as well. You wouldn't send it to your calendar. You just keep it impersonal you keep it personal initially. Okay. So that would be the next email, and I've got a bit of editing to do on that one. And then the last one would just be a simple follower. Okay, so and the likelihood is by email 4 in this initial social media boomerang or initial nurture sequence, you're going to have people that have responded, and you're going to be able to jump on a quick call and take things to the next stage. Okay. From that point, I'm just going to show this really quickly just to show you how cool some of the stuff is here. Again, you could do it anywhere. Let's say you've got them in this 4 email sequence. From that point, you can then jump them over into a long-term nurture sequence. And I'll just, let's say so they got a whole bunch of recommended sequences here, and they recommend once a month for these. So you just drop them and you would tag them so that once they're out of that first sequence, they go right into the second sequence. First one is a little bit of value. Second one is a bit of a reach out. This is every month. So you're not in their inbox with these personal emails, seemingly personal emails every week. Next one, you can play around with the sequence, but ultimately this sequence goes on for 12 months. Okay, once a month, checking back in. A quick question. You'd obviously, I'm rushing through this, you'd absolutely need to make it relevant to your business and your market. Curious about. So anyway, like a 12-month automated email sequence. And these guys in particular believe that after month 4 or month 5, 90% of people who are still receiving your emails have engaged with you. So pretty powerful stuff. And the whole thing can be literally automated. Okay. The other thing I was just going to show you really quickly was over here. Let's say for a different type of business, what are we going to do here? Let's just do executive. Let's say you're having a crack at the corporate market. And your email sequence it would need to be tweaked and iterated a little, but the spirit is the same. So you've got executive assistants, and then you've got here, obviously the same. You've got second degree, third degree, and group members. You've got geography. Let's say you are running your experiences in Melbourne, Australia. And so that would obviously be important. You could even go so far as to choose a postcode, and the Melbourne postcode's 3000. So there's that. Then, so what do you got there? 53,000 results. You've got, what else have we got here? Again, you're going to have to, you want to play around with it. So that's everyone. So let's say you want to do financial services. Typing's terrible. Financial services, boom. Okay. Let's say you want to add to that legal, for example. Legal services. Let's say you want to add telecommunications. Let's say you want to add manufacturing. And you want to have businesses with company headcount, like your ideal, your optimal is, let's say, between 11 and 50. Okay. There you go. The process is the same. So now you've got 1,000+ leads. Obviously, you can add 50 different industries to that, and the process is exactly the same. Request connection, have them understand what you do. I offer meaningful, memorable corporate entertainment experiences in Melbourne and surrounds. Oh, great. That's perfect. That's exactly what we do. Executive assistant, you could include sales and marketing manager. You could, so there's a whole bunch of different, and you could, there's a whole bunch of different categories as well that you can use. So anyway, that's a strategy that works. You're building really great quality relationships from day one. And, the beauty of obviously a lot of programs can do the same, but with Connect 365, you obviously got your open rates. You can see they actually rank your leads on a score out of 10, based on their engagement with you, whether they respond. You'll find you get a lot of responses. Hey, Christina, great to hear from you. Sure, let's keep in touch. So those then rank higher. So, and then they start to serve you up a whole bunch of lead recommendations as well. Anyway, so that's a process, and the whole thing can be absolutely automated. And one of the ways to do that, I've got my virtual assistant doing this entire process end to end. including loading them into the nurture sequence to the point where people are responding and saying, sure, let's jump on a call. Okay. It's great. You can do this as well. You can save your lead searches. So you're not even having to instruct your virtual assistant on the categories and how to search. It's just in there already. So like, boom, they've got 5,500 plus leads that they're just going to start assessing. I've given them some parameters to make sure they're the right fit. And they jump in there and start requesting connections. Okay. So that's really the process. If there's any follow-up questions to that, let me know. The way I see it is, you can run ads. You can get cheap leads potentially. The sort of leads that I was acquiring ran to somewhere between $6 and $12 per lead for someone to see an ad of mine, to see an ad of mine and, download something or book a call or whatever. And for me to get them over into my database. But ultimately people are going to jump in there. They're going to see your connection request. They're going to come in here. They're going to check you out. They're going to have a look at my profile. They're going to see what I do. They're going to see that I've got a whole bunch of, a large network. They're going to have a look at some of my featured pins. They're going to have a look at some of my activity, my recommendations, and they're going to see that I'm instilling them with confidence to connect with me. And you guys can do the same. Any questions on that?
I had a question, Josh. Sorry, yeah. Thanks for the session. Yeah, taking on the feedback. That was really, really helpful. So a couple of things I'm doing similar, but few things different. So I wanted to just gauge what the difference would be. So I'm not doing the navigator. Is it that you get a bigger number to send connection requests when you do the core plan?
Exactly right. So the number. So I think with just like the free version, you can only do a maximum
100. I think.
How many?
I think I'm doing 100 every Monday. So it loads up every week, 100.
So it's 100 a week, which is not a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this is like 500. It's almost unlimited. So,
Nice.
And then the second thing is with the free version, you'll often request connections and you'll say, like people have got their settings at a point where you can only request if you already have their email address. So, and I think there's scope to actually send personal emails through Sales Navigator, but it's just the search features as well, the ability to save your searches and just get better quality leads.
Yeah, but if it's number, it's nearly 5 times more, so it's worth considering for sure.
Yeah.
And another question was, when I do the whole email stuff and stuff, I never end up asking for a call for the corporate market. So is that a good idea to ask them if you want to get onto a call and stuff? I haven't done that so far. So that's something new to me.
Go back and look at that video. Have a look at my sequence. There's a way of asking for a call. The way that you can do it is like, hey, we've got this, this shared interest or passion or expertise. I'm sure we'd have a really productive conversation.
Okay.
If you're, you've got to weigh up, right? Let's say you're selling $95 food walking tours to do it, because you could do this same thing with direct customers as well.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little trickier because it's the screening process is longer.
Yeah.
And it's hit and miss. You might have someone that fits your customer avatar. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't know what's in their mind, and you don't know if they are legitimately planning a trip to, or they've got a holiday, flag for this year. You just don't know. They could be that husband, that that surgeon who lives in California, who's like you could drill down and try to get as close you can as your perfect customer avatar, but you actually have no idea whether there's a desire or a motivation to travel. You know what I mean? So, but let's say you're running your experiences to an executive assistant.
Yeah.
And that executive assistant is the gatekeeper to a $2,000 event. Right? Yeah. Well, is it worthwhile for you to, suggest a 15-minute conversation for a potential prospect that could turn into a lead that's going to drive you $2,000 sale once? They might do it 5 times a year,
Yeah.
In the same way, is it worthwhile jumping on the phone to a cruise agent? Yeah. The first time they might only send you one customer that's paying you, $195 for one of your shared cruise shore excursions. But if that agent is going to turn into a $10,000 a year customer, then it's worthwhile jumping on a discovery call, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I haven't explored that, but I might kind of take that in my emails as well then. And do you also make a company page separate from your personal, or did you just make one personal? That's it.
Yeah. I find that people connect more with a real person.
I mean, right now I've done both, so that's why I was asking. But
I would go full steam ahead just with your personal.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.